baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 Hey everyone, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and today I'm going to show you a simple fingerstyle version of Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. Now this one uses some pretty basic chord shapes. There's no bar chords or anything like that, and a really simple ascending and descending fingerstyle pattern in 6/8 time. And don't worry if you don't know what any of that means. We're going to figure it out along the way. If you need any help following along with this lesson, there is a chord chart for this available on my Patreon page, and it's more than just the chords and lyrics. You know, it has the timing and everything that you need to be able to practice this thing, break it down, work it out, and then put it all back together. There's also my free ebook, which is completely free to all my subscribers, and that goes over all the basics of chords and strumming. And I have some premium courses, my beginner's course, my fingerpicking course. Those would help you with a song like this as well. Don't forget to leave a comment if you have any questions, like and subscribe. Otherwise, we're going to get started with the chord shapes. First is a G chord, and then E minor, C, D, and finally B7. Now, if you're already comfortable with these chord shapes, you can skip ahead using the timestamp in the corner. Otherwise, we're going to take a bit of a closer look. We start off on our G, we leave our first finger down, and we make our E minor shape. And then we go back to G. So if you're not familiar with that, try it out, just pivoting off of your first finger. That's the kind of stuff we learn in my ebook and my beginner course. And then from E minor, we'll be switching to C, and we can leave our middle finger down and pivot off of that finger into the C chord. From C to D, you are just gonna have to work that out. I recommend silently switching over and over again, you know, just getting your fingers down. You could do the chord switching game. I have a lesson on that that'll take you through the switching process, you know, the best way to practice switching so that you actually get clean chord shapes. I'll put a link to that in the corner. The other chord we have is a B7 chord, and we're going to be coming from D. So from D to B7 is a bit of a thing, you know, they're very different chord shapes. What I recommend you do is first, I like to get my first finger down. First, I get my first finger. So I have my D shape, and then I put my first finger where it belongs on B7, and then it's just a matter of going 2, 2, 2. Everything's on the second fret otherwise. You know, our middle finger's on the second fret of the A string, we skip a string, second fret with our ring finger, skip a string, second fret with our pinky. And I recommend going through that motion in that exact same order, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're placing your fingers down in the order of your fingers, right? First you place down your index, then your middle, then your ring, then your pinky. And just keep making that switch until it feels pretty good. And you know, that's what we need to be able to do to play this tune. So before we learn the picking pattern, let's strum all the chords from the verse and chorus, downstrokes only, counting along so we can work them out in the right order and, you know, train up our chord hand to do its job. Starting off on G, 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a. You don't really care for music, do ya? 2 and a 1 and a 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 2 and 1 and a 2 and a 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 1 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 a 2 and a. So you might be wondering, like, hey James, why are we counting this song in such a strange way? Well, that is because that's the rhythm of our finger picking pattern, and I want to get you used to that time signature. You know, we're counting 1, 2 as the basis of our pattern, and then we break each of those down into 3 little beats. 1 and a, 2 and a. And if you add that up, that's 6 little bits. Each of those little bits is an 8th note. That's where you get 6/8 time from. And the fundamental counting in it is 1 and a, 2 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a. And you got to get used to that feeling, and it makes the strumming pattern, or the finger picking pattern, so much simpler. So now that we have the chords out of the way, let's take a look at that finger picking pattern. We're going to start, let's do it on an E minor chord just because it's a little simpler. We're going to start by putting our fingers down. We're going to put our thumb on the thickest string, and then each of our fingers on the top 3 strings. So our thumb's on the thickest and our fingers are on the top 3 strings. And our fingers are going to stay there the entire time. Our thumb is going to move around depending on what chord shape we're on. So for E minor, it's on the thickest string and we go 1 and a. I'm just ascending, going up, thumb, index, middle. And then I go 2 and a. So there I'm descending or going down. I'm going ring finger, middle, index. Just try that a whole bunch, nice and slow. Let's do that together. 1 and a, 2 and a. And when I'm plucking the strings, I'm just kind of bending my fingers. You know, this is called a free stroke. And the whole point is that you don't want to pull on the strings too hard. You're just lightly grazing them. Now for the G chord, our thumb is on the thickest string as well. For C, our thumb has to move to the A string because it's following the root of the chord. You know, the root of C is the note C, which is right there. So our thumb has to pick that note first. Fingers do the same thing though. B7 is going to have the same root as well. And for D, the root is on the D string, right there. So take your time working it out over each of those chord shapes. You know, just do it a whole bunch on D, a whole bunch on B7, and so on and so forth. And there is one point in our chord progression where we strummed C on beat 1 and then D on beat 2. And that means we're changing chords halfway between our picking pattern. So for that part, what I want to do is we're just going to do the ascending portion of our pattern on each chord. So for C, 1 and A, then we switch to D, 1 and A. Other than that, we're basically doing our pattern 1 time per chord shape until the chorus where we do it 2 times per chord shape. All right, let's try this. Starting off on G, 1 and A, 2 and A. goes verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus until the song's done. So that's the easy fingerstyle version of Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. Now, when it comes to singing this tune, you might need to put a capo on your guitar depending on the range of your voice. You know, for me, this key's kind of okay. I think I need to sing it either a little bit lower or a little bit higher. I didn't really check. But all you need to do if you have a capo is put it on one of the frets, like maybe the 3rd fret, and then you just do the whole thing pretending that this is the end of the guitar. So our G chord's like that. You know, that's the whole point of the capo, is that it's an easy way to just change the key of the tune to adjust to your voice or whoever is singing. Anyways, if you need any extra help, don't forget to ask in the comments section down below. There's that worksheet / chord chart for this tune on my Patreon page. There's also my free ebook, which is completely free, and my course Fingerpicking Mastery, which takes you start to finish through your entire fingerpicking voyage, starting with the simplest patterns that you can do, working through figuring out how to combine it with the chords and how to play chord melodies and do a whole bunch of stuff. So please check that out if you're interested in becoming a stronger finger picker. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.